What happened next? Well, we said that Latin was almost forgotten and covered by Germanic language, but here's when the Latin returns. In fact, during the 6th century, Christianity is brought back to Britain and England, and with Christianity, of course, Latin came back with it. And also a lot of monasteries and abbeys and church were funded, so a lot of treasures were brought to England and to Britain. And so again, the English language was influenced again by Latin. Now, here we have another population that we didn't meet before, that are Vikings. Vikings are a population that dominate the sea, we could say. They are very good sailors. They are also mercenaries, and they are very good trading. And what they seek for is new territories, new land to obtain, to gain. So they came from Scandinavia, Denmark basically, but they used to sail east because they didn't know what there was on the west. So one day, actually, they managed to sail west and to discover Britain. In fact, they had heard that there were many treasures in the English territories in Britain. So they were attracted by monasteries, by Christianity, by treasures. They wanted treasures. They wanted to be rich, basically. They wanted to expand. So they arrived around 800 AD. They arrived to England, and actually they conquered some kingdoms and some territories in England. Here's when King Alfred the Great comes. King Alfred the Great is considered the savior of the English language because English, of course, was taking a big risk by being invaded by the Vikings, because Vikings would have influenced with another language, and so what the English language was at the time would have been destroyed. So King Alfred actually split the English territories between the Vikings and the English. So the Vikings had only a part of Britain, while the other part was still of King Alfred. So King Alfred kind of protected the English language from another influence. But actually the Vikings language, so the Norse, influenced the English language. In fact, we can still see some words that derive from Norse. So now a phase of the English language is completed. This phase is now known as Old English phase. In fact, Old English is a language that is, difficult and quite different from the one of nowadays. It would be quite difficult for a native speaker to learn, but it's full of Germanic terms and a few Latinate words. Let's say that it has a Germanic sound, but a Latin vocabulary. So Old English would be quite difficult for a native speaker of nowadays to learn. For example, it would be like learning German. So it's quite, different from the English that we have now, that we speak now. But now we have different phase of the English language. So now this phase starts with the Norman Conquest in 1066. Normans were a population of Vikings, that had settled in the previous century in northern France, and they decided to sail to Britain and bring the French language to Britain. Of course, French had an influence on the English language. For example, a lot of words related to war, let's call it a war topic, come from French. For example, soldier or jail or army. In fact, nowadays the word for army in French is armée. So we could say that this new phase is called Middle English. This starts with the Norman Conquest, and Latin and French have a great role in this part of of the evolution of the English language. So English is strongly influenced by Latin and French that were considered languages of the upper classes. But English, although survived these other influences, and the Germanic roots of English survived Latin and French influences.